Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this FPL video, I'm going to go through my team selection for Game Week 21. I'm going to talk about my transfer plans and who I'm going to be selecting as my captain. So if you enjoy these sort of videos, give it a like, don't forget to subscribe, and in the meantime, let's take a look. Transfer plans for Game Week 21 and my captaincy team selection. Just to have a quick recap of Game Week 20. At the time of recording, the Manchester City Spurs game is over, so all the results are in. It was a real mixed bag for me this week, as it is for a lot of FPL managers. A lot of the players that doubled, that you'd hope would score more points, just didn't. I've got the likes of Cucurella, who just did not play at all in his fixture. Rashford came in with that goal against Man City. That was great. De Bruyne didn't play in the second fixture. Akanji didn't pick up any returns. Either needed Luke Shaw. Trippier outscored him in my whole defence, and Kepa was up there as one of the highest scoring players. Bizarrely, even though Haaland I captained him, I'm always hoping he was blanking because he was doing more harm than good when he scores, because the amount of people that triple captained him. Kane got the assist. Martial only played 45 minutes out of a possible 180, so that was very disappointing. So Andreas in the end comes into the side, and I ended up with a pretty respectable score in the end of 71 points. It does get me a small green arrow. Interestingly, I just didn't even entertain the fact of a triple captain for Haaland, so that paid off, I suppose. It could have been a lot worse, just 8 points. I don't think I'd have settled for that, or I will settle for that when I get my triple captaincy chip used later on in the season. So that was all right. But I do have a number of issues moving into the next game week. As you can see, Somerville and Patterson both injured. Cucurella not really playing, and there's worries about what would happen if Akanji gets rotated. So there's a few issues to talk about. But overall, Game Week 20, decent, small green arrow. I'll take that every week. So let's go through my side then for Game Week 21, how it's set up. Kepa's got quite a difficult game away at Liverpool. I could switch across to Danny Ward. I just don't know. I think Liverpool aren't really firing at the moment. Brighton are playing really well. I can't see Leicester keeping a clean sheet against Brighton. So somehow I think that Kepa, maybe with the save points, I'm just going to back Chelsea at this moment in time. It feels like two sides struggling a little bit to keep up with the rest of the top runners. But I don't expect a clean sheet from either. But Chelsea, I'm going to go with Kepa in goal. Clearly, obviously, you're going to stick with Trippier. He's got a decent fixture against Palace side, not scoring many goals. Akanji, will he start against Wolves? That's my only problem. Diaz came off the bench tonight to play for Manchester City. They've got Laporte back, Stones back in training. So there's a few worries about who will play. Akanji has been a regular in that side. Hopefully, he will keep his place against Wolves, because that looks prime for a clean sheet. Cucurella, will he play or won't he? But he's one of my players that I think I'm just going to try and ship out. He's been disappointing. Hasn't played the last two games for Chelsea. Hall's kept him out. And I'm not sure I want to double up on Kepa and Cucurella away at Liverpool either, even though their fixtures longer term look all right. Patterson's out until the start of February as well, so that's not helping my cause. And then Luke Shaw's got a very difficult game away at Arsenal. Very surprised if he keeps clean sheets. So defensively, I'm certainly only going to go three at the back. My only concern is if Cucurella is not playing again, then Patterson's out and Akanji gets dropped. Suddenly, I can only field 10 players. So that's something that I think I'll be a bit unfortunate if that happened. But it definitely could happen with Patterson injured. So I've got to be wary of that. Moving into midfield, Almiron, brought him in a couple of weeks ago. Happy to keep him away at Palace as well. Across the back, I've got Somerville, who again, he looks great when he's on the pitch. He hasn't played for the last few weeks. Got injured in the FA Cup, so he's out again until early February, they think. Andreas, not a great fixture, but I can see Fulham scoring in that game, to be fair. Now, De Bruyne didn't play against Tottenham, so that I don't know whether to make that as a good thing moving forward. Obviously, I'd much prefer him to have played against Tottenham, but does that now mean he's nailed for the Wolves game at home? I'm hoping so, but I've got no plans to move him out. And then finally, Rashford, I don't expect him to get many points against Arsenal, but I think he's in such good form, and with the threat of a double in Game Week 22, which we'll talk about later, I absolutely have to keep him. And then further up the park, Martial, not sure really when he's going to come back, if he's going to be fit. His minutes just seem to be constantly managed, so he is an issue for me up front as well. And I've got Haaland, and then I finish off with Kane. So that's my 15 that I've got. In terms of captaincy, I just don't think there's any real argument to go anywhere else other than Haaland at home to Wolves. He looks like the obvious choice there for captaincy. I just don't see anyone else, and I just want to take a punt on De Bruyne. Kane away in Fulham, possibly. I think Haaland is just the obvious choice. With the side 4-3-3, I don't think Cucurella, I don't want to double up on that Chelsea. So what I would end up doing is moving Andreas into midfield and then putting Cucurella on the bench. If Akanji doesn't play, then that does leave me with an issue. But I've also got an issue with that side because Martial, I don't know when he's going to be back. Does Weghorst keep his place ahead of him in any case? So Martial and Cucurella seem like players that I could deal with. Now, I've got £2.5 million in the bank, which is great. And I've got 2 transfers. So I was able to roll from the last week, which was nice. What to do with those 2 transfers? One of the players I'm definitely looking at is Ethan Ferguson. Now, with Trossard going to Arsenal, so reported, he looks like he's played the last 4 games. He's got 2 goals, 2 assists. Brighton scoring goals, and their fixtures look pretty decent as well. So all that putting together, Martial out, Ferguson in. Not only saves me 2.1, and I'm not even sure where the money will go for that just yet, but it just feels like a no-brainer. Even if Manchester United get the double in 22, which seems more likely than not, we're told, I just don't even guarantee that Martial's going to be fit or play the minutes. So I don't think I can really hang on to him for that, even if he had the double in 22. And in that double, you've got Brighton with Bournemouth at home. Now, Ferguson, like I said, doesn't appear to have a lot of competition. De Zerbi seems to like him. He's performing well. So he is definitely on my radar. The other option possibly I could go for, I'm going to say this name wrong, is Gnonto. He's been doing really well for Leeds. As we know, Leeds, he got the goal, as we've all probably seen in the FA Cup, what a finish that was. So he could easily come in for Martial as well. And his fixtures, if anything, look slightly better than Ferguson. But if I put the 2 alongside each other, it's very nit for nat. Fixture-wise, you look at that and you think, Gnonto, yes, probably has slightly better fixtures. He's got the Man United at home, slightly difficult, you'd say. And then Ferguson's got the Newcastle away. But they've both got to play Bournemouth. They haven't got so Brighton got the Bournemouth and the Fulham game, Southampton, Forest, Brentford, Everton. That looks good for Leeds. Matching them up completely head to head. Ferguson's XGI looks brilliant at 0.88, almost twice that of Gnonto. Gnonto's played the last 5. He came on as a sub when they beat Bournemouth and then started the game against Tottenham. And ever since then, he's been in the side. So the only thing I worry about is with Bamford coming back and now scoring goals. Is he a threat to Gnonto's place? Ferguson has started the last 4. Weighing him up, I think the only reason I'm leaning towards Ferguson, the price doesn't really bother me too much because I have that much money and it doesn't affect me getting to any other players. It's just I think Brighton are just a better side right now. They seem a better side. Ferguson, I think, has the threat maybe of Welbeck, but I think he's nailed on for the time being. Well, maybe nail's a too strong a word, but I do just favour Ferguson over Gnonto, and maybe 0.5 does make a bit of a difference. But I think the fixtures are decent for both. I think they've both got a case. I'm just erring towards Ferguson simply because I think Brighton have got the ability to score more goals than Leeds at the moment. So Brighton, Ferguson could come in. Well, the other option I've got is Estepinian, possibly for someone like Akanji, or I could bring him in for Patterson. Patterson's fixtures don't look great. He's not even playing anyway. So Estepinian, I've got the money to go straight to that Brighton defender. I'm not sure there's a great fixture to go away at Leicester. I can see Leicester scoring that. The other option would be to stick with Estepinian and go Cucurella. So if Cucurella comes out and Estepinian comes in, because Cucurella, even if he plays and I'm forced to play him, I'm not sure it's a great fixture away at Liverpool. But the third option is Ben White. They've got a double in game week 23. And the other problem as well with Brighton is they possibly will blank it in game week 25. Now, the difference between putting White in is that not only do I get an extra fixture, he's nailed in that side as well, but he will play game week 25 for sure. I am tempted at the moment, I think, to just make the one transfer, which is Ferguson in. I should be okay to get all 11 out because Akanji or Cucurella play. The rest, I think, will be fine. And then I saved myself 2 transfers for game week 22. Now, there's a break between game week 21 and game week 22 because there's the FA Cup 4th round to be played. And also, we'll have the EFL Cup first leg having been played. So we'll know much more information before the deadline in game week 22 about who's more likely to play in the EFL Cup final, and also which replays or possible doubles will be announced for game week 22. Now, if I've got all that information, I think I would want to have 2 transfers to stay flexible to either bring in the Arsenal players, and who do I bring out? If Newcastle or Manchester United get through to the EFL Cup final, I'm almost definitely going to have to think about moving some of those assets around or out of my side in order to make sure I've got 11 for that week. If one of them doesn't make it, then I can know in game week 22, or have a rough idea who will be struggling to get to the final, and then maybe I can transfer accordingly. But I definitely will be targeting Arsenal players for that game week 23. That's it for this one then. Let me know in the comments below, who are you going to captain for game week 21 and what are your transfer plans? We'll come back at you after game week 21 with plenty more transfer tips, team selection videos. So make sure you hit that like. Don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, I shall see you on the other side.